Okay, you guys, welcome back to another episode of our Irish Country Life. For those of you that don't know me, my name is NICHOLAI, and together with the famous Scooter and Chris, who's my film editor, we'd like to take you on a little tour of the dining room here at the house today. So I'm going to start off this tour with the beautiful, fabulous Elizabethan painting here behind me of Lady Dinelly. Lady Dinelly was bought from a gallery in the King's Road called Trowbridge, a beautiful gallery which is no longer here today. It was a long time ago when I purchased her, and I had it rolled and sent over to Ireland, and then I had a local framer in an art gallery frame it for me in this fabulous frame. So adorning the beautiful sash windows in the dining room, again we have some fabulous Sussex House Chatsworth design velvet panels from Sussex House English Home in a claret red, and they are just exquisite. And our beautiful tiebacks and tassels are by Mulberry. Again, we have fabulous shutters which all work in the dining room, and they are just lovely in the wintertime to shut them, and it really almost creates like this lovely incubated atmosphere where everything feels lovely and cozy and warm. All still working, which we are delighted about. And then we have our silk neck panel, which again is in the Chatsworth design to match the velvet panel, and again our mulberry tassel. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the fabulous chandelier that hangs in the dining room. The story behind this chandelier is I saw this chandelier for sale in a shop round the corner from our shop in London, in Crouch End, and I fell in love with this chandelier, but it had come from an old Italian mansion, and it's very old because the silk wiring is all on the outside of the chandelier, which tells us that it's very old. So this chandelier was quite an expensive piece, and at the time my first car was a Mini Metro. My car needed a new starting motor, but I wouldn't pay the £35 at the time for the new starting motor, so I used to park my car on a hill, and then I would bump start it every morning going to work, which is quite funny because one day I eventually paid off for my chandelier, and my pride and joy got put in the front passenger seat of the car with the seatbelt strapped around it, holding it securely in place. And the funny thing about it was I had a terribly expensive chandelier sitting in an old banger of a car that wouldn't even start. Didn't want to pay the £35 for a new starting motor, but was quite happy to spend all my earnings on a chandelier. However, I took it back in London. We bought the chandelier before we ever even had a house. It was actually in Chris's flat in London, and it took up half the room. And I remember laughing, thinking, I don't know where this is ever going to fit, but I'm sure we'll find somewhere for it one day. That is how much I loved this chandelier. There is also the other part to the chandelier, because the two of them came from the same house. It's much smaller, which is in the drawing room, which I will show you in a tour of the drawing room. On the chandelier, we also went to Venice, and we decided we'd have some beautiful Murano glass bunches of grapes made for the chandelier in the colors of the two rooms. So we had some red grapes to match the color on the walls in this room, and we also had some gold grapes to match the color on the walls in the drawing room. So that's my little story about the chandelier, which I still find very funny to this day, and it always brings a little chuckle to me when I think about it. So adorning the dining table, we have these amazing brass bohemian candlesticks, which have got some very lovely precious stones inlaid into it, some beautiful turquoise and some ruby stones. And we also, I like to have the turquoise candles just to pick up on the colored stones that are in the candlesticks. They're a really lovely piece, and these actually came from an antique shop here in Sligo quite a few years ago. Okay, so on the fabulous mantelpiece here, which is lovely marble fireplace, might I add, with all the original tiles, we have some really stunning, I want to show you some of the beautiful Murano glasses. I don't know how we managed to get these back from Venice. We went to visit the Murano glass factory in Venice quite a few years ago, and we chose 4 pieces, and we brought them all back on the airplane. So I'll just take them off and put them on the table here so you can get to enjoy them as much as we do. There's a beautiful turquoise one. Here we have a fabulous cobalt blue. And we also have a lovely claret red. All very individual, very beautiful pieces. And like I said, I don't know how we managed to get these back in one piece, but we did. In fact, we had very few casualties from around a glass. I think we bought a glass horse and I think we broke a leg. That was about the height of it. But we did mind them with our dear life. And they are exquisite chalices. And I hope you'll agree. Very fond memories of wonderful Venice. Would love to go back very soon and bring a few credit cards with me. Okay, so we have another Tudor style painting of a German man. There is something written in German which I still have to get somebody to work out for me what it says. I don't know very much about this painting except the fact that I loved it. However, my brother-in-law really hates sitting at the dining table and him peering down at him. He doesn't like it. Here we have a Chinese cupboard which houses all my glassware and dinner service inside. And on top we have a selection of lovely blue and white ginger jars and vases and faux dogs. Also we have a lovely leather hat box with a pin inside. Some really lovely stuff on top of the Chinese cupboard. And I just love the detailing and the design. I think all of this Oriental stuff lends itself to this house because we didn't want to create the very austere, heavy, dark wood furniture everywhere. We wanted to lighten it. And as most Victorians traveled the world and brought bits and pieces of furniture back with them from all parts of the world, we and Asia, we thought we would incorporate some furniture like this as opposed to the heavy, dark wood wardrobes and heavily carved furniture, which sometimes in smaller rooms can be quite oppressive, whereas in larger castles and big Georgian houses, they can fit in quite nicely. Okay, and just before we leave the table and the dining room, I'd like to draw your attention to these fabulous cobalt blue fleur-de-lis glasses. They are exquisite, really, really lovely thing. Hand painted with gold fleur-de-lis. Also, maybe I'd mention the lovely napkins that we bought from the church shop in Cyprus, where they are all hand embroidered in gold thread, which is really lovely. In different designs. Lots of grapes, and this one has a chalice. And now, my friends, that concludes our little tour of the dining room. And please don't go away just yet, because now it's that lovely time to have a delicious cup of tea and a lovely piece of homemade Victoria sponge. So we look forward to sitting at the dining table and savouring that in a little while. So here we are, waiting for another sitting at court. Scooter is sitting on the throne, waiting to see who comes to his court today. Truly, king of his castle, modelling a beautiful Aran sweater made here in the west coast of Ireland. And that concludes our tour of the dining room. So please come back next week and I'll show you how to make this beautiful Victoria sponge. And thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Don't forget, hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the video is coming out of the wonderful Victoria sponge. So until then, from me, Scooter and Chris, bye-bye. It is actually delicious.